Hey everyone, it's Dr. Nick and Mike Sebastian with Divine Guidance Institute, Modern Day Mystery School, teaching you the ancient way of knowing why, so you never get blindsided again. That's why, yes. And today we are with Emma Jazembowski. Hey Emma, how you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Thanks for joining us. I know you just
Yes.
got out of the gym. You just had a great workout, and
Yep. Legs are screaming.
I love it, love it. Yeah. You've had some recent trust yourself experiences, some recent experiences to share with us and the audience about not getting blindsided. Thank God.
Yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And trusting yourself. I hear you have a great trust yourself story. And this
I
is
do.
good. Good. Because it's kind of what we teach to trust yourself and to listen inwardly, and you always get that guidance. And a lot of people, they hear the message, but the message isn't real for them because they haven't stepped into it yet. They haven't listened or they haven't gotten blindsided and they corrected through listening to trust yourself, to that intuition, that little voice speaking inwardly to us. So I'm glad you brought your story. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Most people don't listen and then they get fucked over, you know. They get blindsided, they get burned. So I guess you've been using these tools for a minute now.
Yeah. Over a
Yeah.
year, maybe even 2 years by now.
Yeah. So all right, why don't you tell us what happened recently with the yeah, I'm turning it over to you, darling. Yep.
So it was about 2 weeks ago. I was on my way. I was driving to Grand Rapids, and I was on the freeway, and I was experiencing. There was a car in front of me that was constantly swerving in and out of lanes, and I had to veer off. I had to go towards the left, so like I had to stay in that direction. I was too scared to go around him. My gut feeling was telling me like something's not right. Like you need to keep your distance away from this car because it just was constantly swerving. I didn't really know what to do, but a voice inside was telling me to, stay back. So I kept my car about 4 lengths away from this car because I was so scared to be near this car. And then all of a sudden, he veers off into all the way to the left, hits the stone wall, goes over all 4 lanes, hits the wall on the other side of the freeway. I have no idea how this car did not hit other cars. But there was so much smoke that I couldn't even see where this car was going. And my gut was just telling me to Emma, just like stop. So I stopped in traffic. Everyone in traffic stopped. And his bumper ended up landing 3 feet in front of my car. And if I would have even been like one more car length like forward, like that bumper would have hit me.
No kidding. Holy shit.
And I just kind of like sat there for a second and I was shaking. I was on the verge of crying because I basically saw my life and his life like flash before my eyes. And listening to that gut feeling, I knew something was wrong. I knew something was off, and it told me to stay back and stay away, and it literally saved my life.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. No shit. Oh my gosh. It's like there were several moments in there where the voice was, loud, like stay away from the car. So you got several lengths back, but then with the smoke and you couldn't see, and it told you to stop, like in dead tracks, like stop.
Yep,
And
on the freeway.
like, you know, that would even cause hesitation. You don't know if you should stay or go, stop or not. You're on the highway.
Yeah, I
So
pretty much just let like my intuition, like my first instinct take over, and I listened to it, and it literally saved my life. It was so terrifying.
yeah, yeah. So okay, so then you stop. So then this dude's bumper is separate from the car. I guess it was just laying on the ground in front of you, huh?
Yeah, it landed 3 feet in front of me. Because I was already stopped at that point, and it like flung off of his car, and yeah, it landed 3 feet in front of me. So if I wouldn't have stopped at that exact moment, like 3 feet, is not that far away. It was literally so close to my car, and it was, and I never see car accidents ever, and it was very very scary.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So then what? Did you guys sit? Did everyone sit for a minute, or then did you just drive around and keep going? Or
Yeah, everyone in traffic stopped. Granted, there wasn't really that many cars on the road at that time, but everyone kind of stopped, and I just needed to collect myself for a minute or two. And one car ended up stopping and pulling over, and they went to go see if he was okay. But I, veered around the bumper and just kind of slowly but surely, like, made my journey to Grand Rapids. But yeah, everyone was stopped for at least a minute and a half, and this was like every single lane on the freeway was stopped.
your intuition saved your life, honey. You would have been all fucked up and mangled with this other car, this other driver, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I'm like just getting like full body goosebumps just even like thinking about that experience again, because it was just like I who knows like what condition I would be in right now if I like hadn't listened to that gut feeling.
Yeah. Okay, so let's bless the moment. May the blessings be. Okay. That reminds me, before we go into your next experience, Michael, long ago, you should tell this story. It's a really cool story. On the highway, when and coming over the hill and then the car, I don't want to give it away, but why don't you share that story with us, will you?
Yeah, driving down the highway, and it was a 2-lane road, really. Oncoming traffic, and we were going up the hill. We were going pretty fast, 60, 70. And at the same time, all the lights went on the dash, and the car just shut down for no reason. And so I drifted over to the right, got off the road, and the guy behind me took my spot going 60 or 70, and a car came over the hill in our lane, and there was a big head-on collision. And there was a couple of people died.
Oh my
And
God.
bodies on the highway. And I realized in that moment that I had literally been protected. And and whatever force it was, you could call it God or Holy Spirit or higher self, whatever, shut everything down and got me out of the way, literally.
Oh my
And it was kind of like a moment also when I got to Vietnam. I was in the artillery, been trained in artillery. Well, generally, you don't die in artillery, even in a war zone, combat, etc., firefights, because you're in a fire base surrounded by hundreds of troops, and there's big guns there that we basically had been trained to shoot. And instead, when I got in country, I had a gut feeling, a very strong gut feeling, to switch over from the artillery to the infantry. And I ran into a captain the next day. We were having breakfast together, waiting to be reassigned. And he said, "Why don't you come into the infantry with me?" And everybody, all my buddies laughed. And they said, "You're crazy, right?" And I ended up joining the infantry based on my gut feeling was so strong. That voice said, "Do it, do it." Everybody laughed at me and said, "Mike, you're going to die. You should have stayed in the artillery. You're safe there in a fire base, but you're going out in the field and getting firefights. You won't last a week or two." As it turns out, the bad guys, the North Vietnamese, went around us in the infantry, overran the fire base, which is where I would have been stationed, and most of the guys got killed. All the guys I'd been with, my buddies, my friends. And it was like, looking back, I realized that listening to that voice, it was a life-changing moment, allowed me to sidestep death and continue with my life. So it was kind of like your moment, reminds me of that, where you were really, really protected, and you did what you basically did what your intuition told you to do. Consequently, you survived. And that's it's a life-changing moment. And it made me a believer. I mean, a total believer. I used to know about it, had faith in it, believed in it, but there's a big difference when it actually happens. It becomes an experience, and I knew it was true, and I knew to listen from there on out. You better believe I listened to that voice. So reminds me of your story very much. Thank you for your story. It's a very good one.
Oh yes, of course.
It's huge. Liminal. We call it a liminal moment when you use the tools, dream, signs, intuition, and the hue for discernment, and you have this experience or that experience, but then when you have the liminal moment of like walking through the door of knowingness. Like up until that point, it's like, well, maybe, yeah, and it kind of works, and that's kind of cute or interesting. But then when you go into full knowingness from the tools, and you know, it changes everything. It changes everything. So
It's wild.
yeah. Now we're going to move on to a fun a lighter topic, but the
Yeah.
same the same
Death and destruction. No more. That's enough.
Yeah, no more.
Let's go on to life and parties and
love.
All
Life
right,
and love.
Life and
Okay.
love. There we go.
Now we're going to talk about your current relationship, which is really fucking awesome. But first, I'm going to back up and I'm going to say, because we've all been through fucked up relationships. Okay. I don't know anyone that has not. You know, Michael and me, we've been together almost 30 years now, you know, but when, you know, prior to me hooking up with Michael, I had been ghosted. And this is in the 90s, before internet and before all this. You know, a guy, we were supposed to go out on New Year's Eve, and New Year's Eve came and went, and he never showed. And we had been dating like 6 months, you know. And then I was distraught. I was fucked up, devastated, crying for days. 4 days went on. Is he dead? Is he in the hospital? What? There were only house phones back then, and maybe a pager if you had one. And so that fourth day I woke up, I had a dream. And in the dream, and I didn't know how dreams worked. I had no clue. I was 24 at the time. Yeah. I woke up, or 23. Anyway, I woke up from the dream. The dream was simply him with his two daughters, hand in hand, walking away from me. That was the dream. When I woke up, I instantly knew he had gotten back with his family and was headed in another direction. That's why I never heard from the guy. That's why, to this day, I never heard from him, never saw him again. But, you know, the universe, call it the universe, Holy Spirit, God, we don't care what you call it, because it's the bottom line, it's the source, okay? And the source, we're all connected, and it gives us this ongoing data, 24/7, dream, signs, and intuition. Dreams when we're sleeping, signs and intuition when we're awake, on what to do, what not to do, how to know what to do, what's coming around the corner. So, but in that moment of waking up and having the dream, I immediately was relieved. I was like, oh, that's what happened. Okay, now I can like get on with my life. Now I can be okay. Now I don't have to fucking cry for another day. And wonder. And so, you know, that was a liminal moment for me with the dream thing. And then a few months, you know, Michael and I, we hooked up, but he was dating 5 other girls simultaneously. Yes.
Oh, wow.
I was looking for diversity. All right.
Yeah.
I had a little paper list to remember their names on his file.
Oh my God,
So
stop it.
No, I'm just kidding.
So, okay. He had just been blindsided by a divorce from his wife. Okay. You guys were
Yeah.
together, what, 15
Yeah.
years?
Yeah. Served
Something like that?
with a divorce notice, totally blindsided. And that's because I wasn't listening or paying attention to my gut feelings or the signs or the dreams. I was having dreams, but I blew them off like, oh yeah, that's just a dream. I learned the hard way with that.
Right. And so everyone's searching for a soulmate or a decent mate, a companion, right? So Michael, you know, he was dating 5 people. He's really searching. So anyway, when we hooked up, you know, he ended up getting rid of all 5, and then we've been together, stayed together, what have you. But you and your mate and us, we have a common sign story, which is so fucking cool. People are going to think we made this shit up.
Yeah, for real.
On our second date, Michael's walking me back to the car, and my license plate letters were KRW, the initials of his first wife. Yes. So he knew. He didn't even tell me, though. He didn't tell me, but he knew that it would be a...
Yep, I knew that it would be a meaningful relationship. And I knew instantly by the feeling that went with it when I saw it. Like my life's going to take a right turn. I'm going to go down another meaningful relationship road with Nicole. So that came from the license plate, the sign out of nowhere.
And now we're going to turn it over to you, my little friend, with your recent new relationship, right? How's it going?
Yes, it's going fabulous. We are literally the same person. I tell people that he's the male version of me, and he recently told me that he's been telling people that I'm the female version of him. Had no idea that he was saying the exact same thing about me as I'm saying about him, which I thought that was kind of funny and cute. But we went on our second date. He was a surprise, and he took me ice skating downtown Detroit at Campus Martius. So he picked me up and drove us there. And I mean, he paid for the ice skating. We got drinks afterwards. We went to a little bar beforehand, and like he paid for everything. And we parked in a parking structure, and I was like, well, he paid for everything. Like, the least I can do is, pay for parking. And it's one of those things where you scan it with your mobile phone and then you fill it in on your phone and you pay for it. So I was just going to do it on my phone. So he was like, parking, and I was paying for it. And I was like, hey, like, I need your license plate, like, so that I can, connect it to your car. And he's like, I don't even know my license plate. Let me, like, get it for you. And he pulls it out. And the first 3 letters of his license plate is EMA.
Oh, my.
I mean, my name is spelled with 2 M's, but, like, can I tell you how many pieces of mail I've gotten with my name spelled EMA? And I was like, your license plate is my name. Like, did you even realize that? Like, he's like, I didn't know my license plate, like, by heart off the top of my head, but holy crap, that's crazy. I was like, it's literally my name.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
And then we ice skated in the same exact jacket. Like, we accidentally looked like the same exact person, basically, when we were ice skating.
Same coat.
And I have a picture to show the audience. Here they are. Okay, let's see. Wait, we got too much of a glare going on here. Let's see. If we go this way. Hey.
Okay.
That's a little better. That's a little. Wait, why are you getting in the picture? Get out of there. The camera's moving
It's
towards
like going
Michael.
away.
The camera likes me. I can't help it.
There we go.
Okay,
that's good. Oh, there we go. You guys have on almost the same fucking coat, okay? And actually, when you and I were talking, I'm like, because you sent me this picture, and I'm like, did he buy you that coat? I'm like, what the fuck? Did he buy you that? And you're like, no, that's just my coat. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, you have on basically the same coat? And did you even know it? Did you notice it or did you not?
No, I didn't. I did not notice it. And I mean, I looked at the picture several times, and I didn't even notice it. I don't even know how I didn't. I don't know. Too starstruck. Not really sure.
Yeah, you guys look like total twins.
Yep.
Really, it's like, oh my gosh. So, and this is how it works with all relationships. The little confirmations along the way, whether it's a dream or a sign or a coat, and which is a sign, and letting us know, like giving us that confirmation. Because at the front end, everyone's wondering, is this going to work out? How's it going to go?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, am I doing the right thing? Blah, 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 on and on and on. And people would do anything to have a little insight into knowingness. And I mean, your license plate, now, come on now. We've had the license plate thing. You had the license plate thing. It'll be really cool to see the journey unfold.
And the coats, you got the coats, you got the symmetry. And I used to teach mating dating, it was called, one of the courses in sociology at a college for years. And in order to teach the course, I did a bunch of extra research. So I made it fun and entertaining so people would enjoy it. And it had to do with symmetry. And I really got into looking into a lot of when people are aligned, when they are meant to be, they had, when you first meet the person, it's like attracts like. You've heard of the law of attraction, and that's the way it works. It's like a magnet. And maybe you're sitting in a bar and you both are sitting at a table and you both reach for your drink at the same time, and you start to say the same thing, like, oh, and you go, no, go ahead. And the other one goes, no, go ahead. It's like you are in such alignment similar coats, everything. It's the names, the license. It's like, oh my God, all those signs have, what they're really saying is that you are in harmony and symmetry and synced up with that other person. That's the highest it gets here. That's the best that can happen. And you're very, very fortunate, and you've noticed all these things. And it's like, that means it's meant to be. You can go through that open door. And that's really exciting. I think it's really exciting.
Oh yeah, I'm super giddy about it.
As long we've worked together a couple years now, and I've been with you through a couple relationships, and yeah, this one's different. This one's definitely different.
Oh yeah,
And
100%.
you were even hesitant at the front end. There was one little thing, we won't get into it, one little thing that was like a potential issue. And we talked about it. And I said, well, just that thing might end up being nothing. That thing might disappear for you. Like when the person is right, the thing doesn't even matter. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And then the other thing, you received some information of a derogatory nature, from one of his exes, okay, which is fucking whatever. And you and I talked about it. The bottom line, when two people have a similar state of consciousness, the negative attributes drop away. If two people are hooked up and they have a different SOC, a different state of consciousness, they're going to run into trouble. It's not going to be good. Oh, he was an asshole and she was a bitch and that. And he was selfish and all of these things. When you hook up with the right person of a similar state of consciousness, it brings out the best. Both of you are vibing at the same level. So the negative attributes that someone might have exhibited in another relationship, that's not going to happen in this relationship. So you even combated the derogatory commentary from an ex because your gut overrode it. You're like, it doesn't fucking feel right. That shit does not fit this scenario. You want to, I'm going to throw it your way.
Yeah, it was pretty much just some things about, a past relationship that I heard about that he had that was a couple years ago. And upon finding out about it, it was like a possible hiccup. I mean, it kind of had my brain a little bit like, okay, like I wonder, what this is like. But my gut was telling me that no, this isn't accurate. This isn't right. Like I knew deep down to something my gut was telling me to not worry about it, to basically act like I didn't even read it because it doesn't matter. It didn't matter. Like I knew, like you said, like my gut feeling overrode like the initial derogatory things like that were being said. And people can say a lot of things. You never really know like what is actually true and what is and what not. But especially with a lot of the experiences that I've been having recently with my gut talking to me, yeah, I know that everything is going to be okay, and him and I are just continuing to, ride the wave that we're on, and it's great.
Yeah. And then, yes, you got to trust yourself. We can't listen to others. There's the spiritual law of silence, which really helps out. And, how about, are you a daily hewer? Would you say you use the hue regularly or once a
Yes.
week?
Yeah, I would say every day, if not every other day. At least
Okay.
5 times a week.
Okay, right on. And it's been pretty cool based on our conversations, times when you weren't hewing versus times when you were hewing, you know, um, life wasn't as smooth. And then the minute you started hewing again, it was like, oh my God, I'm remembering my dreams. I'm sleeping better, blah, 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 da, 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 da. And it just like, it's like flipping a switch, the hue.
Yeah, it literally was. Because there were several
Yeah.
weeks where I didn't do it, and then you and I talked, and you asked me if I was hewing, and I was like, oh my gosh, no, I'm not. Like, I just like completely, forgot. And, yeah, I saw a huge difference, between, doing that daily, at least, every other day versus, completely forgetting about it. It was pretty wild. And this is like, I used to be an extremely anxious person, and, I'm the best mentally I've ever been in my whole entire 31 years of living.
Wow. That's a huge statement, honey.
It's 100% true. Like it really is with every aspect of my life. So it really is amazing.
It's like the best version of you, you know?
Yes, I
Yeah.
finally got there.
And the other thing, why you don't need to even worry, like those derogatory comments, and the gut is like, no, that's not going to happen over here. Here's the bottom line. The bottom line is you would be warned anyway. Like, and this is what people don't realize. You're going to be warned. If something's coming that's negative, you're going to get a sign, a dream, or a gut feeling. You're going to get a warning ahead of time so you don't get burned, so you don't get blindsided, and you can make a course correction if you need to. So, it's kind of those tools have you covered from all angles, so you can just like enjoy yourself and not worry about it.
Yeah, it's a good feeling.
Yeah. Well, hey, I guess we'll sign off, eh?
Yeah. We'll call you the Trust Yourself Girl. TY. Sometimes we'll just call you TY.
All right, Emma. Have a good day. Thanks for
thanks,
joining
Emma.
in.
Yeah,
Enjoyed
of
having you
course.
on.
Yeah, meets you
Okay.
too. Bye.
All right,
Take
honey.
care.